Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eylon Levy, Israeli Government Spokesman. This is day 53 of the war with Hamas's army of terror. First, I'll provide an important update about the release of our hostages from Gaza, and then we will move on to your questions. Today is day 5 of the hostage release pause, which has now been extended beyond the original 4 days. Last night, we welcomed home 11 Israeli hostages, including 9 children and 2 mothers, who returned to the embrace of their families, but not all of their families, because all of the children who returned last night, their fathers are still hostages of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Many of them lost relatives on that grim day of October 7th when they were massacred by Hamas. The names of the hostages are as follows, and the names of the hostages are as follows who were released. Eitan Yahalomi, age 12, from the Engel family, 3 members. Karina Engel-Bart, 51, Mika Engel, 18, Yuval Engel, 12. From the Cunio family, Sharon Aloni Cunio, 34, and the 2 Cunio twins who have become iconic symbols of Hamas's abduction of civilians on October 7th, Yuli Cunio, 3, and Emma Cunio, also age 3. From the Calderon family, Saha Calderon, age 16, Erez Calderon, age 12. From the Yaakov family, Or Yaakov, 16, and Yagil Yaakov, 12. The mission of bringing the hostages home is still incomplete. As I said, the fathers of all of those hostages are still hostages of Hamas, and the state of Israel remains completely obligated to bring them all home and make sure there is no one left behind. Those children now begin a difficult process of recovery in the middle of an ongoing trauma and crisis, with their families still held hostage by the brutal army of terror that massacred their neighbors on October 7th. They are also returning to a broken world. Just the Calderon family, for example, their grandmother Carmela and autistic cousin Noya were killed in Nir Oz on October 7th. Famously, that story of Noya being amplified by Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, drawing attention to her plight because she was a big Harry Potter fan. Their bodies were found only on October 19th, and these returning hostages will only just now be beginning to learn about the extent of the atrocities committed against their families on October 7th. Our goal is to bring families together. Hamas wants to tear them apart. The government, together with the Israeli health and security agencies, is assisting the returned hostages and their families with sensitivity, offering the care and support they need. The current number of hostages held by Hamas is 173, including 6 children under the age of 18 who were not released in the original 4-day hostage release pause. Shockingly, we've all seen that unforgettable image of 10-month-old Kfir Bibas and his 4-year-old brother who remain captive. Hamas saying that it does not hold them and has passed them on to another Islamist faction inside the Gaza Strip in violation of every norm of humanity to hold a little baby hostage and then pass him on. Those 173 hostages include 17 foreign nationals, not including dual citizens. There have been 76 hostages released to date, among them 58 Israeli citizens. There are also 4 abductees currently being held in Gaza that predate the 7th of October. In the cabinet meeting yesterday, Prime Minister Netanyahu stressed in absolute terms that Israel would continue to act to bring home every hostage. Israel has consistently said, as long as more hostages are released, we will address the possibility of further extending those hostage release pauses. Last week's government decision provided for the prospective release of 300 Palestinian violent criminals, including 150 who would be released on the same 3-to-1 ratio. 1 day of a hostage release pause for every 10 hostages released. So that is enough for another 5 days for now. And in addition, in the expectation of being able to bring more hostages the government has approved a list of another 50 Palestinian prisoners eligible for release in the extent that additional Israeli hostages are returned by Hamas. And of course, we want to see all of our hostages return home and see Hamas's willingness to release hostages as a vindication of the unrelenting military pressure that we have been placing on Hamas in order to create the conditions for it to release those hostages. To be clear, the Palestinian prisoners Israel has agreed to release are violent criminals. They are in jail for attempted murder, attempted bombings, and actual stabbings and shootings that have left people in serious condition. We've all seen the misleading headlines about women and children, so I'll take the opportunity to restate. Half of the Palestinian prisoners on the original list of 300 are men. They are males over the age of 18, and the others are all in jail on violent offenses. The age of criminal responsibility in Israel is 12. We are talking about people who have committed violent offenses and been implicated with terrorist affiliations. And the terrorists, the criminals who in some cases try to murder children, can in no way be compared to the innocent Israeli children who were snatched from their beds. After the hostage release pause, Israel will advance with our main goal of eliminating Hamas, ending the terrorist threat on our border, and ensuring the Gaza Strip can never again threaten Israel, of course, never to the extent of October 7th. An operational update. As that hostage release pause is still in place, yesterday Kogat confirmed that as part of the pause, 200 supply trucks entered the Gaza Strip via the Rafah crossing after a security check at Nitzana. These trucks provided food, water, shelter equipment, and medical supplies. That was in addition to 4 diesel fuel containers and 4 cooking gas containers. This humanitarian effort was approved by the Israeli government in coordination with the United States, Egypt, and the UN, and will provide further updates later today. Yesterday, the IDF disclosed a portion of the elite Shaldag unit's operational successes prior to the hostage release pause. The Special Forces unit was deployed to Kibbutz Be'eri in the early hours on October 7th, neutralizing the terrorist threat there and saving dozens of civilian lives. Using advanced technology, Shaldag has been uncovering terrorist infrastructure and extensive underground tunnels in and around the Shifa hospital area, including weaponry, ammunition, military equipment disguised in medical containers and anti-tank explosives. It's important to remember that when this fighting resumes, and it will, the IDF will continue to expose the evidence of Hamas crimes against humanity, and particularly its abuse of humanitarian facilities, building its tunnels and storing its weapons under schools, under homes, under hospitals, and under mosques, in clear violation of humanitarian law and every code of human ethics. Following yesterday's visit of SpaceX and ex-owner Elon Musk to the ruins of Kfar Aza, Prime Minister Netanyahu welcomed German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier at his Knesset office, commending him as a true friend of Israel. The Prime Minister thanked Germany's President, Mr. Steinmeier, for Germany's consistent support for Israel's right and obligation to defend itself, stressing that the international community must continue to stand alongside Israel as we continue this struggle against the Hamas-ISIS terrorist organization. That's all for updates today, and we'll take some questions now through the Zoom. Yep.
If you can just state your name.
Andrew, CBS. Can you confirm that there are discussions underway about expanding the categories of hostages that might be returned?
I'm afraid we can't elaborate anything on sensitive negotiations that are taking place to bring hostages back. Human lives hang in the balance, and until we have something concrete to confirm, the less we say, the better.
Not even the categories?
I can't say anything. I can't say anything about sensitive negotiations to bring back the hostages, I'm afraid.
Anyone else?
Question from the chat. Besides love and well wishes, is there anything that those released are in need of that we as a global community can provide? From Dr. A.B. Korb.
That's an excellent question. The hostages who are returning home are beginning a difficult process of recovery from an unspeakable trauma, having been held hostages by Hamas for over 50 days now. As I said, the trauma is not over. Those 9 children returning yesterday still have fathers who are trapped in the Gaza Strip as hostages of Hamas and will be sick with worry. Of course, any support that well-wishers and philanthropists around the world want to offer the people of Israel as we begin the difficult process of physical, emotional healing in response to the October 7th massacre will be warmly welcomed. And I know that many philanthropists and foundations are already rethinking their priorities for the new reality after October 7th, the horrific trauma that Israeli society has endured. Israeli society is strong, it is resilient, but is of course going to need support and help to bounce back and bounce back stronger. And any well-wishers who want to help with that will of course be welcomed as a statement of love for the Israeli people.
Further question, is there any outline for how long this conflict will last?
The current hostage release pause can be extended for another 5 days on the basis of the 3-for-1 swap between Israeli hostages and Palestinian violent criminals. As I said, we've also allowed for another 50 prospective Palestinian prisoners to be released if Hamas wants to continue releasing hostages, as we want to see. Then, once Hamas stops returning hostages, we will resume the military pressure on Hamas until it releases more of them. And then we will continue this campaign to bring to justice the perpetrators of the October 7th massacre and totally dismantle the Hamas terror state, totally destroying Hamas's governing and military infrastructure inside the Gaza Strip so that it can never hurt our people again. The road ahead is going to be long. We have set targets, not deadlines. So I don't want to speculate about how long this is going to take, but it will take as long as it has to take, not a day more, not a day less, because we have to be sure that after 16 years of Hamas's reign of terror inside the Gaza Strip, with each successive round ending with a ceasefire in which Hamas was temporarily deterred and then returned to attacking the Israeli people, this time, after the atrocities of October 7th, we are going to finish the job. We are going to topple Hamas from power. We're going to bring security to the people of Israel, and we're going to give new opportunities for the Palestinians as well, at least the Palestinians who realize that terrorism is a dead end and they need a sharp course correction if we're going to see a brighter and more prosperous future for everyone in this region.
Okay, that was the last question.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Keep safe, and we'll continue this briefing tomorrow. Thank you very much.